Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Everybody to 4Player Podcast. This is our day one of E3 2017 podcast. My name is Nick Henderson. I am, of course, joined this evening by Brad Simons.
I'm way over here!
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hey!
And Christopher Davis.
Howdy doody.
And, yes, today was not only... Okay, so we're going to talk about Nintendo at the beginning of this podcast, because the show floor was...
Yeah, not a lot happened there.
Oh, some stuff happened. We're going to talk about Nintendo, and then we're going to talk about the stuff that we actually got to do on the show floor today, because today was the first day we got out there and actually played some games.
You know, I could imagine we could probably talk about Nintendo for longer than their actual press conference.
Yeah, we probably could. We probably will.
Yeah, their 25-minute press conference.
Yeah, but they're also doing, you know, that Treehouse presentation
There's
throughout
stuff
the
we
day.
don't even know because we weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been checking my feed all day and I haven't seen anything.
There's a remaster of like
Mario and Luigi
Superstar Saga,
yeah.
which is the best one, I think.
Really?
In my opinion.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is getting an HD remaster on the 3DS, or not HD, just a remaster.
Not HD.
You know what I mean.
But that was a GBA game. So.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And a Bowser's something else.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about Nintendo, and then today was kind of a brief day in the show floor. It was only 6 hours instead of the usual 8.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is 8, and then, we have 2 more full days on the show floor. But before we get into that stuff, let's, of course, talk about Nintendo, where things happened.
Did we write any of that down?
No, but I think it was short enough we can kind of remember the chain of events that happened, right? Mario
Brothers?
Someone pull up the spreadsheet from the other night.
That's not far from the truth. Yeah, I can pull that up.
I mean, let's talk about what Nintendo opened with.
I don't remember.
It's been my memory is being clouded by
Kirby?
like
Yoshi?
no
Mario?
no.
There was a
Kirby? It started with ARMS.
No, it didn't.
It really did, though.
The fuck are you talking
Yeah, the
about?
first thing was a trailer for ARMS.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also a tease for the Rocket League thing.
Right, and then Rocket League. And then I'm pretty sure they did Kirby and Yoshi.
Kirby looked okay. Yoshi looked
After the montage, they did not open after the montage with those.
That's just a montage.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, did we really not remember what they opened with?
They opened with ARMS.
No, after the fucking ARMS thing.
Rocket League.
Well, they went to Reggie, and then he started talking about...
Jesus Christ.
Kirby.
Okay,
All right, here we go.
You're useless. All of y'all.
Are we wrong?
Wait,
Yes.
you're gonna have to
I'm not
scroll
wrong.
over,
You're
man.
literally
Grab
wrong.
this.
I am
Grab
wrong.
this. Scroll over.
You are literally wrong.
All right, here we go.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2
Thank you.
is what
That's
they
what I
started
was
with.
looking for.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, but
The first thing that they showed that was not something that was already out or coming out that we'd already played, which we're talking about ARMS, was Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I'll say this. I was surprised that they reconfirmed that it actually is coming to North America this year. Because a lot of people were like, yeah, there's no way. If it even comes out this year, it's going to be Japan only, but, there it is.
I'm guessing it's getting a just day and date worldwide release
I
across.
really hope I have a Switch by then. I don't know. But they have a date of November, so that's exciting. Then they showed a new Kirby. That looked okay.
Whoa,
We
we haven't talked about the breasts in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
What?
Or the pants. Or just the weird-ass characters.
Nick,
Just the character design.
Sorry.
They didn't show much new. You could actually just put it in front of you if you want.
I could, but my microphone's...
I mean, the main character of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, he looks like a knockoff Sora with some kind of big-ass backpack
I don't
on him
understand
that
the-
holds a cat.
I don't understand the pants.
Nick, have you never seen saddlebags?
No.
That's what they are. Saddlebags.
What are
They're
saddlebags?
for storage on a saddle. and their bags.
But what does that have to do with pants?
Saddlebags on pants.
I've been calling them buttless kettle bottoms.
It looks cool. I heard they showed a lot at the Nintendo Treehouse. I'm gonna watch that stuff in
a bit.
Yeah.
In the weeks
At some
to come.
point.
I'll be honest, I was looking forward to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but nothing about that trailer kind of, lit a fire under my ass. But
It seemed
that
like
game.
a JRPG.
Yeah, and I was expecting them to really play up more of the scale of that world, and
They showed a little bit of that towards the end.
They really did.
a little bit.
There were some shots in there where like, holy shit, that is a huge area.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how that turns out.
Kirby.
Kirby.
So
there's a couple games in this lineup from Nintendo that are just, I guess, working titles right now because they're straight up just Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a Yoshi.
Uh-huh.
Do I not see Yoshi on this list?
No, it's down the line.
Oh,
that's
wait,
wrong.
was that-
It's not Woolly World. That's definitely not Woolly World.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a whole new Yoshi.
No, we'll talk about it when we get to it.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about Kirby.
Okay, Kirby.
I mean, it looks like Kirby. It's a 2D, side-scrolling Kirby, but there are some new elements it seems like they added.
Multiplayer was one of the elements, too.
So there is multiplayer, and it showed some puzzles, I guess light puzzle elements, where it seemed like one character needed fire to maybe progress, but there was a waterfall blocking their path. So the second player got a ability that was an umbrella.
Yeah.
So they were able to stop the water from falling.
And from what I was reading, you can actually combine powers now.
You've been able to combine powers.
Yes,
in the
well,
past.
Super
like-
Nintendo.
They were very specific about that. Granted, I've never played a Kirby game, so
Whoa, never.
Well, in the past, you've been able to combine multiple powers.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it looked like they were doing pretty cool things with like depth or what's the word I'm looking for? Like I remember Kirby going down underground and then you seeing him like behind kind of the environment and moving around underneath like underground and stuff.
As someone who's played a lot of Kirby games, this one didn't seem all that remarkable. I'm sure it'll be fine.
It didn't. It seemed
think
like
we
it was
should move
missing like a gimmick. I don't know if a gimmick is the best word.
Well,
to use.
they have regular ass Kirby games, and then they have the
gimmicky ones.
The gimmicky ones, and typically the gimmicky ones are the ones that are more interesting.
Yeah.
To be honest, because for whatever reason, Nintendo's willing to experiment with the Kirby series, and that's a good thing. This one just seems like a regular ass Kirby. I mean, even the Wii had a Kirby game with multiplayer. Honestly, this one just didn't. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine, but we're talking too much about it.
Agreed.
All right. Next was Pokken Fighter, or isn't it called
Pokken
Pokken Tournament?
Pokken Tournament.
DX or something.
Pokken Tournament on the
It's a
Switch.
port.
It's porting it from the Wii.
Yeah.
to the
they're
Switch.
adding 5 new Pokemon you can play as.
Not much to talk about
Ooh-hoo.
there. Let's move on to the next big thing, and this is
It's one of the smallest big things.
yeah, it's weird because a lot of the stuff that's like the most talked about stuff at this conference is stuff that was announced in words only for the most part.
Yeah.
And they dedicated like a short video during this conference or during this presentation to announce that yes, they have started working on a core entry in the Pokemon franchise, a Pokemon RPG on the Switch,
Correct.
which is the only thing that I've wanted from Pokemon.
It's a smart move.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those moves that's like, why did it take this long?
Are they going to add 150 new Pokemon?
It might.
I don't want 150 new Pokemon. I can't remember the 700 and however many that already exist.
I think that's 400
The
too
Switch
many.
hasn't been out that long.
I mean, I've talked about this in the past. Like, the only reason I don't think I can like fully be on board for Pokemon anymore is because I know no matter what I do, no matter which one I play, I'm never going to catch them all, which was the ultimate goal. Like, I'm not gonna.
No, I caught them all, and then they added more.
Well, yeah, I caught all 150 when I was younger, but then I stopped.
151.
151. Sorry, I didn't count
Is
Mew.
canon.
Mew is canon, but you also just don't catch them out in the world. What the fuck is that noise?
That's a
Called
car.
Welcome to 1992.
Metroid Prime 4 is in development from a new team within Nintendo, not Retro Studios,
Correct.
not Mercury Steam.
What if it's a team made up mostly of people who used to work at Mercury Steam?
This is very exciting. It's a new Metroid Prime game, but it was just a title. So, like, who
Title and a
knows
logo.
when this thing will fucking
What's
be out.
weird is that
That's
this
not a
game.
logo.
This game was. What do you mean it's not a logo?
That's
Bad
not the
logo.
official logo. I guarantee you that's not going to be it. That's just the word Metroid Prime and 4. I don't think that's going to be the official logo.
Somebody spent 25 minutes making that logo.
I'm,
Yeah, probably.
Sure, probably so. The weirdest thing is that this game is. You can actually pre-order this game on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure it exists.
That's not good. You can
Amazon lets you pre-order anything.
Yeah.
They'll let you pre-order a game when it's just. I'm sure you can probably pre-order the new Pokemon game.
You can still pre-order Prey too.
I bet you can still pre-order Scalebound.
So I do have
No and no.
So I am glad that we're getting a new Metroid Prime game. I don't know if like this new internal team will do the same kind of. I mean,
The producer on the game has worked on every single. We do know this.
Yeah.
We do know the name of the producer, and that producer has worked on every single Metroid Prime
But he is
game.
a man, and this is not Retro Studios, and I don't like. I'm sure it'll be fine, and I'm actually kind of excited to see how it maybe differs from your typical, Retro Studios game. But it's been a long time since Nintendo did Metroid internally.
What does
It's been like, I believe the last one was like internally in Japan, Nintendo. I believe the last one was Zero Mission on the GBA.
Do we know with 100% certainty this is a new internal team?
Yes, that's confirmed.
Nintendo said it. Yes.
Huh?
I don't think Zero Mission was the last one.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier than that.
No, but I mean, the Prime games were developed, by Retro, which is here in the States.
Yeah.
Other end was Team Ninja. You had,
Who did
Federation
Pinball?
Well, Pinball was
A genius.
Pinball is not. The last core Metro game I believe that was developed in house was Zero Mission, and that one was amazing. So
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Who knows when it'll be? I could have a fucking 2-year-old by the time I'm playing this game.
Hey, but
And then you'll never play video games.
But at that point, you'll be past the. Maybe
Point of
hopefully not.
return.
Yeah, 2-year-olds, super easy.
Yeah.
What's up with this next Yoshi game? We got more Metroid to talk about later, but
It's
we'll come
like-
back to that.
Just called it
Yoshi.
They
Yeah,
literally
it's
just
called
called it Yoshi.
I mean, there did seem to be some new elements. It's I don't know if I want to use the word 2.5D because it's not a game where you're switching between like rows. You're always on the same path, but the gimmick here is you can rotate the world to get a different viewing angle to kind of maybe shed some light on some other stuff that's going on. And I don't know, it's kind of weird.
This is another game that when they promoted it, they literally just called it Yoshi, which makes it seem like all of these games are kind of super early conceptually, and maybe even Nintendo hasn't quite figured out.
Also kind of look like it was for babies, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie, I agree with Brad. That doesn't have to be the case.
Is there a
though.
Yoshi game that doesn't look like it's for babies?
So here's the thing. Yoshi's Island.
Which is technically Super Mario World 4. Super
Correct.
Mario World 2.
Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. It had an interesting art style. I would not say it technically looked like it was for babies. And it definitely was not an easy game. It was quite a difficult game. And that's kind of always the thing I've been hoping they would do, is release another similar style Yoshi game. This one looked a little on the easy side. I can't be the judge of it until I play it, but
I feel like the last 2 or 3 Yoshi games they've released have always been like, I just hope it's hard, and then we all end up playing, or some of us end up playing it, and we're always like, it's way too fucking easy.
yeah. No, go back and watch the stream of me playing. What was it, Yoshi's Island 2? Or what was the new one called?
New Yoshi's Island,
New
I think.
Yoshi's Island. There was literally
Didn't you hate that one?
Yes, there were times where I would sprint through a level and just get to the end within 30 seconds. No challenges, it just fucking just run through, done, run through, done, run through.
That's
done.
just super poor
And
design.
I'm like, what the fuck is the point of this? I agree with you. It's poor level design. It's way too simple. It's very simplistic. The transformations in that new one were very bad. Did we see any transformations in this one? I don't think we saw it.
There was that egg throwing, but honestly, egg throwing was always kind of a little sluggish in Yoshi's Island. But here, I think because you could do it with full range, seems even slower and more sluggish.
Potentially.
I feel like the inspiration for the world flipping mechanic is drawn from Mario Brothers 2, to where you could get those doors and you get to enter a shadow version of the world that's completely opposite.
Yeah.
Maybe. The thing was with that
Except
shadow,
you can do that any time now.
Well, hold on. The shadow version in Super Mario World 2 was limited to a small section to essentially maybe just get like I don't know some like
some items that are
some
there.
items or something. In this one, it seems like it's potentially similar. Just you're collecting coins or something like that, but there's no. I don't know. Like I honestly, so sorry. A little more complicated than this. It seemed like there was a couple of areas in the video we saw where you had to flip the world in order to progress. Like you just almost get another angle to either unlock like a bridge falling down or something to just move farther.
Kind of like Fez in a way.
Yeah. But that's it.
They showed a trailer for Fire Emblem Warriors, but they didn't actually show gameplay, so that's not interesting.
They actually did devote more time in this presentation to Mario and Rabbids, which after the presentation at Ubisoft, I was like, this seems like wasted time. The game
Still looks pretty cool.
Still looks cool as hell. Still looks charming as fuck. I do intend to play that game. They talked briefly, or they showed a video promoting the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild expansions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 of them. Yep.
2 of them, which the first one was like a Trials, like a
something trial.
Trials of Courage or something.
The Trial of Courage.
Trial of Courage, which just seemed like a collection of
arena battles.
Do you
like
think
arena trials?
It wasn't all arena battles. There was.
It looked like a bunch of like shrines.
Does that title imply that there's also going to be a trial of like power and a trial of wisdom?
Maybe.
But the second expansion was
like story stuff.
Was like story stuff. I think.
Guardians.
But it had something to do with the Guardians,
Yes.
but like they didn't.
I think there's a new Guardian. I think that's the new dungeon.
Wait, what?
Well, they didn't.
Because they said there's a new dungeon, right? But but what in Breath of the Wild can be considered a actual dungeon?
It was all the Guardians.
It's the Guardians. So I think there's going to be a new Guardian for that second DLC.
But why?
Yeah,
The point of
the threat's over.
I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but the point of the
it's trial. It's trial of the sword.
Breath of the Wild thing.
Make it even easier, I guess.
Thank you. I don't remember Courage.
Trial of
Not
the
trial.
Soul.
I don't remember that, but I didn't want to speak up. and be wrong.
Damn.
'Cause I knew they only said they had plans for 2 DLCs anyways
Yeah.
right now.
The whole point in the main game is there's 4 Guardian temples you can go to help progress the game. I don't know what a 5th one would do. I'm not saying you can't do it, but
Who knows?
Yeah.
They really didn't go into any detail about that one at all.
I mean, it was literally just a montage of pictures of the Guardians, and really that was it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of those is supposed to come out this year. I think the
The first one.
first one, Trial
I
of
feel
the
like
Sword.
the-
Sword, yeah.
I feel like this new expansion's meant more to try to sell you those Guardian amiibos that are coming out
Possibly.
than the actual fucking
Rocket
content.
League, exciting.
Yay!
I'll play some Rocket League on my Switch. Fuck
Super
it.
Mario Odyssey, that's the big one.
Yeah, this is
They spent quite a bit of time and revealed a lot that we didn't know about the game.
Yeah, they did a pretty hefty demonstration, and that kind of bled over into the first part of their Treehouse presentation that was kind of playing throughout the day.
You could turn into everything.
Yes,
Anything
You can
and
possess
everything you
anything.
Fucking turn into it. And that's
I mean
really weird.
you use your hat to inhabit objects, enemies,
People.
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
Yeah, that was a really weird.
Tanks.
Taxi
Fire
cabs.
hydrants.
Poles.
Hats.
Hats.
Other hats.
Other hats, yeah.
Stack of hats.
Now we're becoming Team Fortress.
Straps
Modest.
on hats.
Modest stack of hats.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so they kind of showed, Mario exploring that hub world that we saw.
A new. What was it called? New Dunk City.
New
Donk
Donk
City.
New Donk.
New
New
Donk
Donk City.
Yeah, you gotta do the Pace Picante accent when you do
And
it.
so anyway, I showed him exploring this world. Yes, using the hat to help either traverse. A common theme seemed to be those flexible poles that you could I guess morph into and then fling yourself to reach either a higher place or a farther away place. Showed Mario kind of going into
Like these challenges.
yeah, kind of challenges to collect
get
the moon
moons.
pieces,
Yeah.
which I assume are equivalent of either the stars or the shines.
They must be,
yeah.
but then also
The
when he beat the
moons.
boss, he got like a grand moon or he got a moon, but it was a bigger one. It was called like a grand or great
Yeah,
moon.
that's
or
like the
something
different-
You know,
Shines.
the design aesthetic for the actual moon pieces in this game reminds me a lot of the design of the shines in Super
They
Mario
have the little-
Sunshine.
the little circles on the ends of the
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah.
Moons were 3-ups.
They
they-
remind me of bananas.
So they showed several different worlds today, which was cool. Of course, one being the human, New York City-esque
New Donk
area.
City.
New Donk City, which looked cool. A very cool sense of verticality, which was awesome.
Not exactly a large area.
No, Well, I mean, it
Well,
was
it
still kinda
seemed
hard to
like
get
a lot of variety, a lot of verticality, and I think they were also saying that you could go into a lot of interior spaces there too. Right? Where did we get?
Yeah,
that?
you went into an alley and went into a door, and it took them to a whole new world.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of cool. Plus, we don't really know how many of these overworld or kingdoms, I guess they're calling them.
I'm still. Wait, what's going on?
Talk about video games, Brad.
Oh, I guess that's what we do on this podcast. Like
Mario.
we also saw the other world, there was
Day
of the Dead looking
desert.
world in the desert.
Yeah, what was that?
Where he collected coins that looked strangely a little bit like.
Say it, Nick.
We'll call them triangles, Nick. They were triangles.
Okay.
They were the sign of the Illuminati.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
There's
We'll
different
go with
currencies
triangles.
for different worlds.
triangles. Yes.
When you die, you lose a certain.
So yeah,
portion
that's
of your
another thing. Is
coins.
it doesn't seem to be the concept of lives in this game anymore. It
Thank
seems to be
God.
when you die, you
Thank
lose 10 coins.
fucking
I don't know what the coins are for.
God.
I mean, they never really showed you
Well,
using the
he
coins.
goes into a shop at one point and he buys in that world he uses the local currency to buy the sombrero and the poncho, and then they also had other power-ups or hats or whatever shit to buy as well too, it seemed like. So.
Well, I don't, but I mean, and that was the other thing is unlike other Mario games where you would go, you have coins that are almost useless to an extent. I mean, most think of in terms of Mario 64, you would have the 100 coins you can collect to get a star, but that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Versus this one, it seems like every kind of area has their own currency. Like Christy was saying, they have coins that are exclusive to that area that you use in that area.
It seems like buying things is going to be more important too, especially like I don't remember what the name of the store is, but it's like the big hat extravaganza store.
I can't remember what it's called either.
They have a thing at the
booth.
on the
There's
shelf.
a big replica of the storefront there. So
Hats are us.
So that makes me think that that's probably going to be a pretty prominent feature of the game.
Yeah.
is this new economy.
I'm only confused about how you progress through the world, how it gates progression.
I mean,
because the moons don't seem like they function like the stars in 64 and Sunshine or even like Galaxy.
Why do you say that?
He might use them to power his airship.
I mean,
Which we didn't really get to see much of.
That's the thing.
And
No, they have. In one of the videos, they showed him putting the moons into his hat airship thing.
Okay.
So my assumption is he needs those to get to certain places, like his magical hat.
I mean,
ship.
I wonder if it's completely gated, like he flies somewhere and it's like, okay, we're out of fuel until you fuel us up again, and you're just like stuck in that kingdom
That's
that
a
you're
cool
working
concept,
on
yeah.
until
Possibly.
you figure that out.
I see. I mean, in that 30-minute demo, they picked up like 6 or 7 different moons, and I didn't really get a sense for how much access I get and how often I'm going to be getting these moons.
I kind of feel like it's going to be similar to like Galaxy, where you're getting all of these pieces, but they're not as involved or as because like in Mario 64 it was like you go into a painting and you have a specific set of 6 tasks you have to accomplish to get the 6 stars for that painting. And I feel like this is more just like you go to each one of these kingdoms or worlds, whatever you want to call them, and scattered throughout it's just like any number of these moon pieces, and like the things you have to do to get those moon pieces are going to be less intensive. Maybe like because
I mean there was a moment in which he put on the poncho and the hat, and he went over to like a band and he kind of danced with them for a little bit, and he got a moon.
Yeah,
Well, I think
there's going to be a lot of them.
Well, the point of that is how do you know to do that? I'm sure. Because they knew what they were doing playing the game. I'm sure if you had gone there earlier and tried to do that, they'd be like, "Oh, you can't dance because you don't look like us.
You ain't from around here."
Exactly. And then you can go to the shop and see, hey, I can buy a poncho and a hat. Maybe if I buy these and go back. I think that's kind of. I understand that it doesn't seem like you had to do much to get that, but it only seems that way because they did everything they needed to do to get it first, and then went and just finished it.
Yeah.
I think it was just like
These
I said.
could be like the Korok seeds, where it's like anything weird in the world that stands out. If you interact with it, it rewards you with a moon.
I do like the idea of it kind of going back to being a little more puzzly and trying to kind of figure out these levels and all the different nooks and crannies and how that can lead to, the moons. That's more Mario 64 and less Mario Galaxy, and that's exciting. That's what I want. So I can't wait to play this game.
No, I think we're all pretty excited.
really
for it.
Yeah, I think
we got to jump on that.
We got
Yeah, I
a
think
release date.
that might be a thing I focus on trying to do tomorrow.
What is the release date?
Didn't we get one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
October.
October 27th.
27th.
Yep.
Yeah, another game on October.
There are
27th.
3 games that I intend to play coming out on October 27th.
There's 5 games officially now.
I'm not gonna have the Switch by then.
But I think the coolest thing they showed during this presentation for Mario Odyssey was the switching between 2D and 3D in the walls.
They definitely got they definitely got some inspiration from A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
It was a cool effect.
And it is cool because when he hops into the walls and you're suddenly doing like a 2D Mario level, but his actual character model when he goes into the walls looks like classic like 2D
8-bit Mario.
8-bit Mario, which is really, really cool. And then but enemies would go into the bullet bills would go into the wall and do the same kind of thing, and then they would pop out and then come back into their fully rendered 3D forms. And that was just a really, really cool effect.
And that was the other thing we talked about, Mario using his hat. Doesn't the hat have a name? I forgot what it's called. It's called something.
That I couldn't tell you.
What was that?
Hattie?
No.
Man, they're handing out those hats.
Maybe.
I guess they're handing out those hats to anybody at the show who plays the demo.
No, I think you have to play you have to play all the games in the Nintendo booth, and they give you a punch card, and then you go and turn in the punch card and get a little hat.
Yeah, but it's a visor. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
like
a visor.
It's not his hat.
Anyway,
All I can tell you is I'm
effort.
starting to see a lot of people wondering
Scarecrow
about.
brought up a good point. Cappy, is that his name?
Cappy, yeah.
Scarecrow's point: when you switch to the 2-bit mode, the music goes 8-bit.
Yeah.
Like it switches
cool.
from an orchestral
Like
to
they really
8-bit.
commit to the 8-bit presentation there when you switch.
And the other thing was we talked about possessing things, but you can possess bullet bills and other enemy types and stuff like that. And they only really showed the possession of bullet bills to kind of fly around, get areas. But I'm curious as to how far that could go. Possessing different enemy types and stuff like that.
Possess Bowser.
Yeah, well, could you possess enemies to I don't want to say stealth through areas, but you know what I'm saying? Would an enemy still attack you?
I think there is going to be stuff like that.
I mean,
fully
there was a
expect-
moment in which
he was Goomba stacking on
yeah, he was
Goombas.
Goomba
Goombas
stacking,
on
yeah.
Goombas, yeah.
I fully expect that's going to be something that Nintendo's going to find
What
ways
if-
to do really cool
What
creative
if
stuff with.
you fighting Bowser on the highest high rise in New Donk City? You possess him and then you commit suicide.
That's
make 'em
dark.
That's a little
It
dark.
is dark,
Oh,
right?
remember they showed a boss fight where you're
One
fighting
boss
one
fight,
of
yeah.
you're fighting Mario's fighting one of the wedding planners who's trying to help Bowser plan his wedding to Princess Peach.
They're like the new Koopa kids, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the bosses. are
Probably be
these.
fighting them
That's-
each a few times.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
What are
clever.
they called? The
I can't remember. Yeah,
it's not the Furious.
But they're
They call them
but they're
something like
wedding
that.
planners.
They're like rabbits.
They're not
something.
rabbits.
they're rabbits.
They are rabbits. Correct. I don't remember what they're called.
It's
but
something
yeah,
kind of fucked up.
It's a little weird. But yeah, I mean,
Brutals.
The Brutals.
The
Yeah, isn't
Brutals,
that
that's
kinda
what it
fucked
was.
up?
Yeah.
I think we're all excited for
Yeah,
Mario
yeah.
Odyssey.
I might try and make this my focus tomorrow, first thing in the morning. See if I can get some time with Mario Odyssey.
The next thing Nintendo announced.
This wasn't actually part of the
So
press
yeah, that
conference.
was actually the end of their conference.
So
That's
here's-
all
here's-
they had.
Are they
It wasn't
planning on
even
doing
a conference. It was
because they're
just
doing
a
it?
25-minute video.
They're doing a Treehouse again tomorrow as well. And
Every day they're doing
every day.
Treehouse, yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're going to be making. I'm assuming they're probably going to be making additional announcements
Yeah.
throughout the entire thing. So
Probably.
They've been. I actually think it's really cool what Nintendo did this year. Instead of cramming all of their announcements into one 30-minute video, just doing a Treehouse event throughout the entire E3 event and then kind of spacing out those announcements.
It makes it harder for us to know.
I mean, it
what's
makes it
going
harder
on.
for us, but from
Better for people at home.
Thinking about people at home trying to watch it, I think that's probably a really fun way of doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Hey, Nick.
Oh man.
Metroid's back.
Let me tell you.
Like an actual Metroid, playable Metroid that they played in front of us. Metroid.
I told you Metroid 2D.
Side-scrolling Metroid.
The list was correct.
You remember?
It is a remake of the second Metroid game, which Return to Samus, which was a Game Boy game.
Which suddenly makes sense as to why. I mean, we already kind of. There was already lots of thoughts going around about why they might have tried to legally
They've
shut
been-
down A2.
They actually teased this back in February. Because Game Informer did an interview on video with Eiji Aonuma and Shigeru Miyamoto, and they did that cup thing, and they revealed one of the cups and it said 2D Metroid, please.
And then
Yeah,
they
but I
laughed.
thought they were just
Yeah,
fucking
they
around.
laughed.
I mean, that's just
Yeah.
goofy ass.
4 months later, I mean,
Well, of course they knew, but
surely they did.
but new
So
2D Metroid on
yeah,
the
it looks
3DS.
pretty good. I mean, Metroid 2 wasn't a super deep or like lengthy
good Metroid
game,
game.
but
And
AM2R did a really great job of remaking it. So I don't know if we needed this.
Well, this one's coming from a very reputable developer.
Yeah.
Guys,
I didn't. I
guys,
don't know who it was. I didn't catch it.
guys, I can't even tell you how fucking funny that was.
I've
sorry,
heard
not
of this
Hilarious. It was a laugh riot, Nick.
Oh god, I can't. We've been joking about this for fucking years.
The problem is
About how Mercury Steam is ruining my life.
We couldn't have written it any better.
I cannot believe, like, we're getting all excited, and, like, Brad's getting all excited, and then, like, literally, we're in the middle of, like, oh my god, I can't believe Metroid's
We
back.
are screaming
Like,
in this
we
room.
can't even hear it, and then all of a sudden, I see someone in chat said, did they just say Mercury Steam? And we stopped, and I was like, whoa, stop, everybody shut up. I think they just said Mercury Steam, pump the brakes. And then, like, within seconds, it was confirmed, and then it was just, like, oh my god, so much screaming.
Mercury Steam fame,
so much
developer
yelling.
of
Brad went
the wonderful
quiet.
Jericho. Oh, also they're the putrid pieces of shit that ruined Castlevania. They made, not only did they make two, awesome reboots or whatever of Castlevania, Lord of Shadows 1 and 2, they also did Mirror of Fate, which was a side-scrolling Castlevania in the Lords of Shadow universe for the 3DS, which is what this one is also on. That game sucks cock. But, I'm going to be honest with you. This looks a lot better than that. This actually looks kind of fun. It doesn't maybe look like... This might not be the next Super Metroid. But, and Mercury Steam still sucks balls. But, they're doing some cool things. The fact that, like, Samus can aim in any direction. She actually has full aim. The fact that she has, like, a melee attack looks really... like effective, maybe even too effective.
Well, I think another, and that was kind of a question we had while we were watching the footage. Was it seemed like the counter melee? You could use the melee as just for hitting, but you could use it as a counter when an enemy would be coming in for an attack. If you use it at the right time, you could get a hit in on them that would kind of stun them, which lets you get in a couple of shots.
Yeah,
and it seemed pretty powerful, but. The thing is, if you miss up the timing, it's just a free hit. And it seems like if it's a situation where you have trouble with that timing or whatever, you're just going to be kind of essentially standing there and might potentially take more hits.
It seems satisfying.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely.
To be honest, like that move seems satisfying. At the end of the day, I mean, he was still fighting, or Samus, whoever was playing, Samus was still fighting, alphas and stuff. Like, it's still Metroid Prime, or Metroid 2, which was a kind of simplistic game. The bosses were like all the same. AM2R did a lot to add like new bosses, new areas and stuff, and kind of new secrets and stuff. Hopefully, Mercury Steam is ambitious enough to make this a kind of fully featured, rich a remake like Zero Mission was back in the day for the first game. I don't know. The impressions of the few press outlets that were able to play it are positive. I'm keeping an open mind. Mercury Steam is a really, really bad developer that ruins things that I love. But I will give them the benefit of the doubt.
It's very big of you.
I will play this game. It comes out September 15th.
Yeah.
For a handheld. I'll probably be playing a lot more handheld stuff these days anyways. And I don't know. Hopefully people buy this. Because I want
it. No,
Metroid
it would definitely be good. And Mercury Steam aside, it would be good for this game to do well because it shows Nintendo that fucking people still like Metroid.
Yeah. I think that's well. First of all, I'm wondering what finally kind of cued Nintendo into like doing this, because suddenly there's been like years of like no Metroid, and then one year we get 2 Metroid announcements. It's like suddenly they're like, oh yeah, I forgot. People.
To be fair, there was a Metroid game last year too.
Oh wait, which one are you?
Federation Force.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
Yes, that was last year, and that's not a Metroid game.
Yeah.
I thought that was 2 years ago.
No, that was last year.
Oh.
Last year.
We heard about it last year at E3.
I know. I thought it was a year that Brad was at E3 though that we heard about it, but I guess not.
Yeah, well, it was, but
I think that was let's not get hung
still
up
last
on this.
year. So, yeah, and then we went to the show floor.
Yeah. So I think that kind of... I mean, there were a few other announcements that we personally haven't had a chance to really dig into because we've been at the show floor all day. Like Brad mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, they did announce a remake or a remaster of Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga on the 3DS. We have yet to see or read much about it because we've been at the show floor all day. So...
The original's a damn good game.
Yeah, for sure. So, for the sake of consistency, I want to just take a quick break, come back, and then we'll talk about what we did on the show floor, and that'll be the second half of the podcast. So I'm just gonna hit stop on the recorder for a second, stretch your legs, use the restroom, whatever, and then we'll be right back. So, don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Brad. I'm here with Nolan.
Hey, what? We don't need to introduce the show again, Brad. Shut up. Just talk about what we saw on the show floor.
What did we see?
Oh my god.
Me and you started by saying Uncharted The Lost Legacy.
Uncharted The Lost Legacy.
Or just, is it Lost or Legacy?
Wait.
The Lost
Do we
Legacy?
want to talk at all about the elephant in the room with E3 this year?
How many fucking people are there?
The gross, dirty,
The
unwashed
bathrooms.
masses.
The plebeians.
The public.
With their neon green badges.
They're neon.
Clogging up the lines,
out.
shitting in our toilets,
And
eating our food.
You were
Very loud.
loud.
Sorry.
No, you're cool.
It's really
No,
passionate.
it's kind of fair.
That was pretty good, though. Oh my
Oh,
god.
it's so crowded.
Not only did they have to open the show floor 15 minutes early because they were worried it was becoming a hazard. Like, if you've watched the footage of them opening the doors, oh my god, it's horrifying. It's like when you watch
Black Friday.
It's like the first footage of Days Gone, where you see all the zombies fucking like, woo! Yeah, E3 is a little crowded this year.
It's more inclusive.
Yeah, it's making it a little bit harder though to see some
anything?
things, to do anything,
To breathe?
It's more profitable for the ESA, is what it is.
Well, of course, and there is a benefit to this, and it's great to see people excited about it. A lot of people are very excited to be here. It's just, man, I got separated from Brad and Nolan and Crispy at some point just because I couldn't stay with them. I literally could not, unless we decided we were going to hold hands. We just couldn't stay together.
And fuck that.
And you know what? Fuck that. Yeah, it's a.
Let's hold hands tomorrow.
Let's do it.
We should just, like, tie little belt, like, ropes to our belt loops
Yeah.
and then tie us
Yeah.
to each
Do
other.
it like elementary school field trips. Get somebody with
Yeah.
a flag.
Is this me or you?
That's yours.
Buddies.
So it was very crowded, but that didn't stop me and Nolan from seeing Uncharted The Lost Legacy.
Nolan
Is that
and
what it's
I.
called? AKA The Adventures of Claudia Black and that cool chick from
we don't
Uncharted
work
4.
You mean Nadine?
It's a
Nadine.
You say Claudia?
Claudia Black.
Is that the actress?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
AKA the voice of Morgan.
Yeah, correct.
Dragon Age.
But yeah, so I mean, it was some, you know, it's just some 20-minute demo they showed
Yeah.
of Chloe and Nadine, and they were doing a bunch of Uncharted stuff
In a jungle.
in a jungle,
Which is very Uncharted-esque.
climbing on rocks. And the frustrating thing was they started late. It was the first demo of the day, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And I guess there were some technical issues. And so they, were going late. So it started a few minutes late, and we had other things we needed to do afterwards. And they started the demo by slowly panning the camera around
Check out how
the
beautiful
jungle.
it is.
And we were like, hurry the fuck up, just go! Just go!
I want to see how beautiful it is.
No, I could easily see that in like 3 seconds. But they just took so long to pan around. And anyway, so they, it's them exploring the jungle for like a couple of minutes, and then firefights start.
How'd the gunplay look just like
It looked
Uncharted?
like typical Uncharted gunplay. I think they did add a couple of new things maybe in regards to, like, I don't know, there was one scene where Chloe was climbing up a rock face, and there was a guard at the top, and she, like, took his gun from him and then punched him in the face with his own gun, and then threw him off the cliff, and then she had his gun.
Yeah.
And then shot him while he was falling.
And yeah, and that was kind of cool, I guess.
I think the strength of this is going to be the strength of that relationship and the fact that Chloe just seems like a really I mean, she's kind of the every woman. She's the lady Nathan Drake, but she's a little more ruthless.
Miss Independent.
Yeah, I like her.
Well, the thing was, Chloe was the very, it came about in 3. 3?
2.
2. Sorry. 2.
I haven't seen Chloe since I played 2 for the first time.
Well, she shows up briefly in 3, I think.
Oh yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does.
Very briefly.
But anyway, yeah. So she's in 2, and she's, that was kind of the whole, what happened to Elena? And then, Chloe is a very independent, even though she's traveling with Drake, she still does everything on her own and, kind of whatever. And so, very independent woman. And then you have Nadine from 4, who is a very independent, you don't really know a whole bunch about her past, but
that girl was vicious.
Sully kind of tells you a little bit about her. She's a mercenary.
Capable.
Yeah. And now we have both of them exploring
she
together.
whooped Nathan Drake's ass.
There was one scene where they were both hiding in the grass, and Chloe was like, all right, you take the one on the left, I'll take the one on the right. And AD just ran up and took them both out.
Yeah. She got one in a headlock, and then a roundhouse kick on the other one, knocking him off a cliff, and then killing the other one.
Man.
And Chloe was like, all right, well, that works too.
Damn.
Yeah. And I think they're going to have a little bit of banter about them both being very strong, independent.
But there's also it might be a somewhat antagonistic relationship as well.
Oh no,
there were some allusions to that, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it antagonistic or like competitive or
No,
is it
more their goals maybe aren't the same.
Yeah,
and I think temporarily aligned.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the original footage we saw when they during the Sony press conference this year, right?
Yeah.
Kind of alluded to that a little bit, where she's like, "Oh, well, you need this, and I was kind of using you, blah blah blah, whatever."
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I bet they're friends by the end.
Probably. In the footage, like I said, firefights, and then they kind of escaped from the firefight like Nathan Drake would normally, and into some area, and then it's all back to exploration.
You think they can make it through this entire game without making any reference to Nathan Drake, or do you think they're gonna?
I think they could. I don't think they will.
No.
Yeah, why would they not talk about him?
And then they get. I'm sure they will probably talk. I'm sure they'll make jokes about him. I guarantee you that Chloe and Nadine will be, start talking about
trash
him and start talking trash about Drake.
There's one thing I remember I wanted to say. That as much as I love Uncharted, I'm tired of the storyline always being that they want something, but there's also a bad dude who wants it too, and they're just gonna use them to lead them to the thing that they want. The
bad dude is gonna let the good guys lead them to it, and then swoop in at the last second.
And that's here too. That's here too. It's literally every Uncharted game, I think.
I mean, it's also in the Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah,
but
you got to imagine if you sat there and you thought about it hard enough, you could probably come up with a slightly different concept.
Yeah, shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, like Indiana Jones 2.
Exactly.
Where there was just some stones.
Where it was the Shankara stones, and a village asked him to go retrieve them from a cult, so he infiltrated the cult and got it back.
And they cut open the mama steak, and all the baby snakes came out.
Exactly.
Eyeball soup. It was
and
great.
The chilled monkey brains.
Is that the source of Crispy's hatred of snakes?
Probably not.
It didn't help.
Yeah. But the thing, and then towards the end of the demo, or the show, what they showed, this antagonist showed up. Do we know his name or anything yet, or I don't really know. Anyway, the main antagonist, I assume, from this game, and I'm really interested in this character.
Seems like a jerk.
He definitely seems like a jerk, but he seems like a very intelligent, highly functioning jerk, and that he kind of knew what was going on, and I'm curious to know more about his motives. What, Crispy?
What did y'all see?
No, we have a lot.
Oh yeah, sorry, we do have a lot to talk about. Yeah.
Before we go to Bandai Namco, can we talk a little bit about Monster Hunter World?
Totally. I saw that.
Yeah.
Brad and I saw that as well.
We the three of us all saw that. And this was a straight up 20-minute demo of a mission, one hunt.
Yep.
And it was hey, there's this monster giving us trouble. Go deal with it.
Literally speaking of, there was voice acting.
Yeah, the whole thing was voice acted.
The first time ever, I think.
Dude,
in the
not
series.
only that, the guide character who was helping you out, when her dialogue popped up on the right, her little avatar was also animated talking too.
Nice.
So,
Which is nice because
cool.
I feel like this series has always kind of struggled with welcoming new players, and they've always added more and more tutorials, but it was always a bunch of text boxes.
Yeah.
Now it actually seemed like you had a voiced person explaining things to you, and that's honestly seems huge potentially for getting new people into the series. So I'm glad that that's there. Hopefully the whole thing is fully voice acted, because I've always kind of had a hard time being too interested in the story when it was just quest text. You know?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of it's a lot to digest in text alone. But the mission was typical Monster Hunter fare as far as we're having problems with this monster, go deal with it for us. And they give you a general location where they think it might be, and they tell you that the monster secretes a mucus that you can use to track it. So you go out into the world, and the first thing they do is they show you the map. And the map is very much in the Monster Hunter style of different areas numbered, connected by paths. But this had a shit ton of areas connected by a whole labyrinth of paths.
And it was seamless.
It was all seamless.
No separate screens.
It wasn't even like really an indication of like you've gone from area 1 to area 2. Like it was all there, and it was out there, and it was actually really really pretty. Especially for Monster Hunter, it looked really nice.
I think I need to rewatch that.
So
trailer.
You go out,
or see,
or I can just go watch the presentation. Cause
you should. I mean,
maybe I'll do that.
The presentation does a better job of giving you an idea of like what this is going to be all about.
Yeah.
Than that announcement trailer does.
Fuck it, I'm going to that presentation tomorrow.
So the first thing that happens is you get out there and I cannot for the life of me remember what they're called, but there's like the herd monsters, like the really benign ones that don't ever attack you. For the sake of ease of this conversation, I'm going to call them cow monsters, okay? So there's a bunch of cow monsters hanging out, and a giant, like, iguana monster comes out of the woods. And the tutorial lady's like, oh, no, that's not what we're looking for. And the iguana monster picks up one of those giant cow monsters and swallows it whole. And just, like, gulps it down. And it was kind of cool. But you follow that into the woods because you know it's heading in the same general direction as the area that you want to go to find a trail for this target monster.
Yeah.
So the presenter kind of stealthed along behind it, trying not to be spotted, and he got to a point deeper in the woods where the iguana monster like regurgitated a bunch of the monster it had just eaten.
The cow
monster.
The
cow monster, and then a bunch of smaller iguana monsters came out of the woods and like started eating it like it was its pack or its babies or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh shit, I don't think we can. Let's not fuck with this. You know, it was one guy, it was one hunter out there, and he's like, let's not fuck with this. So he moves off. He finds a sample of the mucus nearby, and he uses that to track the monster. And this is where one of the big new mechanical changes comes in that you have these things called guide flies, I think they were called.
Something like that, yeah.
It's basically like this little cage of bugs, like fire bugs that you have, lightning bugs, fireflies that you have that will highlight footprints for you if you know what you're looking for. If you have enough experience with a monster that you've encountered its footprints and gotten a trail for it, they will highlight this path for you, and you follow that back to a cave. And when the hunter goes into the cave, he finds the target monster asleep. But as he goes into the cave, the monster wakes up, so he immediately starts hiding.
And this is the monster that we saw in that original.
This was that
video,
T-Rex thing
with the fucking
fur.
nose.
Yeah, and it also has these like Dilophosaurus type fins on its back too. That kind of look like wings, but they're not big enough to be wings. But this thing wakes up, and the dude's kind of like trapped in the cave with it, so he's like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Remember the grappling hook we saw in the trailer? So that thing's called the Slinger, and it's not just a grappling hook, it's also a like slingshot.
Yeah.
So you can fire different kinds of ammo with it. So he uses that to make noise to lure the monster towards the mouth of the cave. And once the monster's in position there, he basically just bolts past it and shoots it in the face to piss it off, and then drags it out into an open area. So he gets it into an open area, and he starts working on it in typical Monster Hunter fashion. But while that's happening, the iguana monster, which is still kind of in the area, just shows up and kind of insinuates itself into the fight. Well, the target monster is higher up on the food chain than the iguana monster, so the target monster just picks that thing up in its jaws
Just destroys
and
it.
fucks it. Just like absolutely destroys it.
Fucks it up.
Fucks it up, yeah.
To clarify,
yeah.
Just picks it up and
just
fucks
and just
it.
goes to town on it. So the hunter at this point is getting a little desperate, and he's like, okay, well, we need to get some space. So he starts running. By that point, the target monster is so pissed off that it's basically just going to follow him wherever.
Yeah.
It just keeps following him, and he runs towards the center of the forest where there's this giant tree that you can actually like go inside. There's an interior section to the tree, and he goes in there and he starts climbing up the ramps, and he gets to a point where the thing's gaining on him, so he just starts grappling hooking his way up the inside of this tree, and then he gets out in the top, and the exterior area of the top of the tree happens to be a Rakdos nest. The dragon monsters, like kind of the iconic mascot of the franchise. And this thing is a lot higher on the food chain than the target monster. So now this hunter is kind of like stuck in this fight between these two high-level monsters, like trying not to get trampled. So he opens up his inventory radial, which there's an inventory radial menu now.
Yeah.
And he selects a flare and pops that up into the sky, and then 3 more hunters drop in.
So this is kind of interesting because I don't think multiplayer has ever worked like this. You've always had to kind of join a game together
like waiting
with the
rooms
people
and
you
shit
want to
like
do a
that.
hunt with. Now it seems like you could just summon friends. I don't know if there was random people that came to help out or maybe like friends of his, but
There's definitely some way that in the middle of kind of just playing, you can have people join you.
From what
summoning mid-hunt when you need the help is cool.
Yeah, from what I've read before too, like they do still do, like you can get like rooms and do it the old-fashioned way, or you can also, if you do it the flare way, it's kind of more of like a Dark Souls thing where it's just like, I need help right now, who's out there to help me?
Yeah.
You know? And then other people can drop in. So now there's 4 hunters on top of this giant tree trying to fight both of these monsters. The Rakdos, the dragon monster, is just like destroying the other thing, is like shooting fireballs at it and like kills it pretty quickly actually. And then the rest of the hunters are like, okay, let's see if we can take this thing down now. We're out here, right?
Yeah.
So they start fighting that thing. The hunter with the bow pulls out a couple of like gunpowder barrels and sets them down next to the stand of like woods that you find out soon is actually a dam. And he detonates a bomb next to that destroys the dam, and then a shit ton of water comes washing down, and it washes the hunters and the monster off the top of the tree, and they fall a very far, like, I don't know.
Very long.
It was very, very long way. And the hunters are all like grabbing onto they're grabbing onto whatever they can with their grappling hooks to kind of slow their descent. And the one hunter they happen to be focusing on at the time, in my demo, positioned himself just right that when he hit the ground he could land on the monster and show off the kind of like rodeoing mechanic where you can climb around on the monsters to find weak points and then like attack them, and once you've weakened them enough you can do like a kind of a coup de grace move that doesn't necessarily kill them but deals a shit ton of damage.
That mechanic's not brand new though.
Is that not? I thought that was kind of like a big thing for this one.
No, that was in the last 3DS Monster Hunter.
Oh, the Generations.
Generations, yeah.
So they work on this monster for a while, and in my demo, it got away.
Yeah, mine too.
Ours too.
They were still kind of like
that's a higher level monster.
Yeah, but the whole thing was.
I mean, I think it's the fact that
it was really cool.
It was a half-hour demo, and they started at one point in the world, and they ended up in a completely different point, almost constantly. Either chasing the first monster, and then now this other one, and just all of it seamlessly, just all. And it was quite impressive.
There were several times where they were like knocking trees down on top of this thing, or they were knocking down trees to make cover for themselves, like the range characters to make cover, like. The big emphasis that they wanted to make was that the world is a like functioning ecosystem, that the environment and that the different monsters interact with each other and in kind of a dynamic way, and the demo showed that. Now, how much of that was like planned and how much of that happens kind of just dynamically all the time in the world is not entirely clear, but if it works the way they were presenting it to us, it was very, very cool. It was very.
I'm gonna go check this presentation out tomorrow because
you should.
It sounds like epic enough that like I can't possibly do it justice.
I feel like it's like hunting dinosaurs.
It's pretty much the only thing worth looking at in the Capcom booth.
Wait, it's what?
It's pretty much the only thing worth looking at the Capcom.
We saw it at the Sony booth, so try to get an appointment.
This was the Sony theater.
Oh, okay.
Or you can make appointments to go see it.
I also saw one of these Sony theater presentations today. for Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Not
I tried to get in, but all the spots.
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
I'm so tired.
So not a whole lot to really mention here because what I saw today was predominantly what was shown at the Sony press conference the other day. The difference being they wanted to show off, one, the open world nature of the game, the freedom you have to kind of move around and approach situations differently, and the dynamic like weather system and whatnot. In this demo, he approached it at a different time of day. In my demo, it was snowing. It was kind of like a light blizzard, so it was like your visibility was kind of restricted. They also emphasized that like certain enemies may not be out or active during the day versus the night. Like if you remember the demo they showed at the press conference, he got chased by wolves at one point.
Yeah.
Those wolves are nocturnal. They stay out pretty much at night or super early hours of the morning. So
are they zombie wolves or are they just wolves?
I'm pretty sure they're zombie wolves. Like, I think it's kind of the same thing as the bear. Although this demo I saw today ends exactly the same way with the bear kind of coming out of nowhere and then they go, oh no, and then which really sucks. I feel like that would have been a perfect opportunity to show, like, if you want to do something special for the people at E3, show them an extended demo and show the fucking bear and what happens with the bear. But so in my demo, it was what kind of bummed me out was that there wasn't a whole lot of emphasis on the zombies in this demo. He approached it from a different way entirely. He actually bypassed that tripwire entirely. He kind of he went around them instead and took them out with melee combat and guns or whatever. And then he kind of snuck up on that whole camp from the opposite side. And the only zombie in the demo was he found this one guy that was kind of over there by that camp who had chained a zombie to a tree and was like taunting it like for fun, and like the player stood back and like shot the chain off the zombie and all of a sudden the zombie just tackled the guy and just fucking ate his face, which was cool. But that was literally the only zombie in the game in the demo. The rest of it was him just flanking that camp and
slowly taking out dudes.
It eventually went sideways on him, and it kind of almost got. I thought he was about to die in the demo, to be honest. But yeah, he took out the rest of the dudes using gunplay, and then proceeded to trigger the bear event.
What is the name of the protagonist?
Oh, you would ask me a question like that.
I'm just saying
they did mention his name.
Okay.
What they said was that the game takes place 2 years after this pandemic that obviously created zombies in the world or whatever, and the main character in the game used to be like a hardened motorcycle biker, and he uses his skills and whatnot and his persona from that his previous life to kind of insert himself into this new world order as like a bounty hunter.
I just asked because Days Gone headlined last year's E3 presentation and this year's E3 presentation from Sony.
I wouldn't call it a headline.
Well, it was one of the biggest parts of the both shows.
I mean, they're definitely setting it up to be a big thing.
But I still don't know what his name is.
I don't think it's relevant.
They've said it before, and
they've said it.
They actually said it today during my presentation, and I'm to be honest, I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily to imply that his name is forgettable. I don't have a great memory.
I just feel like he doesn't have enough personality.
I don't think you can make that judgment yet.
Yeah, that's true.
All we've seen is him interacting with zombies.
And I think I do specifically remember his interactions with. There's two key moments during that demo where he actually has like a dialogue and interaction with people, and I remember them pretty cleanly. So I don't think that'll be a problem. I'm sure that character will probably ultimately be acted and presented well. I don't know if they're going to make him an interesting character by the end of it. Who knows? One thing I will say, it looked a little rough around the edges today. They really need to clean up some of the combat and a little bit. Like it was kind of rough, and some of the animations need some work. But I think this doesn't even have a release date yet, so I don't think that's anything to really concern yourself with.
Yeah.
What else we got?
I will say this. This is the siphon filter, guys.
Yes.
And there were a few moments today where just the way he moved and the way the gunplay worked and whatnot that I was like, holy shit, for a second that just looked like siphon filter. So
while we're on the topic of the Sony booth, Brad and myself saw Detroit Become Human.
man,
Yeah.
between all of us, we saw
I think everything that was there.
all of the theater presentations today.
Yeah.
So Detroit Become Human, the main character Marcus is a deviant android who. So apparently in this world,
This is the guy that y'all were saying. This is the main guy that they showed the demo.
That they showed at the correct at the Sony conference. Yeah. So he's so apparently in this society with androids, humans have become lazy. Unemployment's at a all-time like crazy high, and
It's
just
like Wall-E.
yeah, kind of. And so Marcus is trying to free the androids to unlock their consciousness so they can be their own people.
No longer be slaves
Exactly.
to human beings.
And so that's kind of it was essentially the what we saw from the Sony conference. What was going on there is what we saw behind in the video, but we saw the entire process, not like
And I asked you this
It
earlier.
was expansive. It was
I
half an
asked you
hour.
this earlier off the recording. Did they make out?
Unfortunately, they didn't.
No, they didn't make out. What
Um,
is the fucking point?
Yeah, I agree. So the point was, or not the point. It was, like Brad was saying, it was a lot. A lot was going on. They had a mission to kind of break into this facility to release a bunch of androids. I guess it was like a store, and I think they described it like an Apple store, but for androids instead of iPhones.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to break into there.
And you have a lady friend who's a bad seed.
Kind of.
She's always telling you to take the violent, ruthless.
North is her
Wait,
name.
is that the girl with the short hair?
Yeah. Oh,
Care-
she didn't really have short hair.
Is-
I mean, it was in like a beanie.
Gotcha.
Is she an android?
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Yes.
Her name is North, and she is an android.
Oh, so this is not Kara? Is that the other one?
No,
Kara
that
was
is a
the
different
original. That's a
character.
different character. Yeah.
Gotcha.
This was Marcus and North. So anyway, they go up to this facility, and he uses his mind palace, is the way they described
Like
it.
Sherlock Holmes.
Exactly. To essentially kind of go into an android view where he could see, oh, here's the security system. We need to disable that before we break in, and you can follow the electric lines. And we saw a little bit of this in the
Yeah.
demo. He goes up to some androids who are working on those electric lines and frees them. And he's like, oh, go to Jericho. I don't know what Jericho is, a place, a haven
A
for
bad
androids.
video game.
Yeah,
Imagine
exactly.
yourself in a silent forest.
And so once he hacks the line, North is like, hey, watch out, and he has to decide: do I want to hide? Do I want to jump out? Do I want to do this?
It's very heavy rain.
Yeah, heavy rain. He made the wrong decision, was caught by the police drone, and they bail on the mission. That's the choice he makes. He could either attack or do this, and he bails. And then North gets really upset and blah blah blah, and literally the mission has failed. It's done.
But the story progresses.
Yes.
Yes.
And so, but what she did was, hey, because this is a demo, we're going to go back and not fail, just so you can see what would happen if we didn't.
Yeah.
So this time, instead of trying to, disable the security alarms like that, he first sees the drone as like, hey, I'm going to use, I think it's called like a pre-construct or something like that, where he can visually see where the drone is going to move around. He can analyze its path. And along its path, you can see ways you can try to interact with it, and it will show you almost like a pre-rendered kind of like I don't know the best way to describe it. It's like kind of like how would you describe that, Brad?
Like a hologram?
Like a hologram of Marcus trying to interact with the drone. It's like, oh, if I jump off of this and try it, but it's like, oh, nope, it's too high. This would fail.
Yeah.
So move along farther in the drone's path and find a way where you could try to get to it. And that's where he got to kind of what we saw on the demo, where he climbs up that scaffolding and then jumps on top of the drone and takes it out.
Yeah.
So he takes it out, and then they find a construction truck, and they drive into the building, and
then all hell breaks loose.
yeah. Well, no, hold on. So he frees all the androids, and he's like, follow me. My name is Marcus, and I'm here to free you, and blah blah blah. And if you want, you can go off and do your own thing, or you can follow me. And they're all like, we believe in you, Marcus. We'll follow you. And then he walks outside the building, and you have the choice: pacifism or violence. You can passively, you can tag things with, hey, this is the android movement, and you should treat us better, or you can wreck shop. And the lady doing the presentation was like, What do y'all want to do?
Well, Nolan,
and the
I mean-
crowd screams, violence!
Burn it to the ground.
And so they just start fucking destroying everything. And the thing is, the androids follow Marcus's lead. So he starts breaking things, they start breaking things.
Do you think there was a single presentation today where they said
So we asked the lady that, and she said only like one. But she says she thinks it's just because the passive people are a little quieter than the violent people.
polite.
Exactly. And so
And the violent.
they start flipping cars and burning things, and like, you know, and I kind of made a prediction. I was kind of talking with Brad about it. Like, I think it's because, like he was saying, North, the female, seems to be the one that's egging on the violence. That Marcus is gonna, at one point be like, "What have I become?" And it's kind of, gonna be her doing.
Violence the answer?
Exactly. Is
I
violence
want to
the
kill.
answer?
In the demo ends with the cut of like he's holding a gun to like the head of a human who just killed a bunch of androids,
Yeah.
and it cuts there, and it's like you're totally gonna be able to like
Make that decision.
make that decision.
Either
And
kill a
that's-
human or let him live.
That's kind of cool.
Dude, I'm as far as like conceptually speaking, like this might be the Quantic Dream game that I'm most intrigued
Do you
by.
like Heavy Rain?
I liked Heavy Rain mostly.
This
I
seems
liked Heavy
very similar. To
I liked Heavy Rain mostly because I'm just really into like murder mystery and like police procedural type shit.
Yeah.
But this is also like this seems really interesting from a perspective.
Well, I mean, it seems like you're gonna have that with that one character who was a fucking detective.
Yeah. But I also am concerned because Quantum Dream doesn't necessarily have the best track record for like wrapping these kinds of stories up in a satisfying
And it
way,
still has
so.
some of the issues that you see in Quantic Dream games where I don't know if it's the lip syncing or the uncanny valley or maybe the voice actors that they get, but everything seems maybe just a little off. Like some of the voice acting seems a little like maybe Canadian or something.
Well, off sounds to me better than how y'all seem to really, really always hate on the Heavy Rain.
Hold
voice
on, we
acting.
hate
it's
on the
terrible.
kids. We hated on the kids first of all.
no.
And
Well, no,
I will say
he hates all the voice
I
acting.
think most of the voice acting in Heavy Rain's bad.
Well, it's because it's non-English speakers trying to do English accents, and
Yes.
it always sounds just a little weird.
So is this better than that, Brad, in your opinion?
I think it's better
It's
than
definitely
that,
better.
yeah.
But one thing I will say is all the times they, because it's, very serious, tense moments, and so they'll have close-ups of Marcus and North, and god damn, it looks really good.
It does.
Like
Their
the facial animations, it looks like holy shit. This is
Yeah.
impressive.
Some
Like,
of the other characters look a little uncanny valley.
there was a hilarious scene when they were fucking
bugged
destroying
out.
the city and it bugged out, and the lady had like this polygon, like
Looked like a PS1
like a
character.
PS1 character, and just because it zoomed in on her and she was like made this face, and the crowd started just cracking up, and the presentator was like, I haven't seen that happen before, but I was like, I almost hope that happens in my game. Like it seemed like it was like a very early, like maybe a Generation 1 Android that's just kind of like a base mod, like meh. Like I really hope that happens often in my game because that would be great.
That'd be kind of cool just to have that as a visual mode for the game. It might change your perspective of it.
Just while we've kind of unintentionally moved down this Sony wall here. So Crispy and I saw the theater presentation for Spider-Man today.
Spider-Man,
And-
which you did too.
Yeah, we can get this out of the way super quick because it was literally the exact same demo we saw at the press conference, with the exception of it was a live demonstration, so it didn't go quite as smooth in a few places, and we did see a few new abilities that he didn't, or new moves that he didn't use in the theater present or in the press conference.
I think I know why too. As we were leaving, somebody was talking to the guy who was playing and asked him if he did the presser, and he was like, no, the guy who did the presser was the team's combat designer.
Yeah. So that's probably why that ended up looking, way smoother and way more like
I mean,
on
not that
point.
this was bad, but he did do a couple like kind of more contextual combos and moves that we didn't see in the presser that were fun and really cool. A lot more of just like violently sticking people to walls.
Dude, the best one was, I swear to God, like this guy came running at him, and he just did this like dual like web shot at the guy, and like it happened so fast, he just shot the webs, and the guy just went boom, just stuck to the wall, just
on
like
the wall.
like that, and I was like, that looked hilarious and was awesome.
There were two dudes, and he stuck one dude to a set of scaffolds, and then used his webs to pull down the scaffolding and the dude onto the other guy. That was really cool. He made a dude punch himself out with webs. It was great.
Yeah, he literally like grabbed both his
both
hands,
wrists, wrapped his arms around his head, and then yanked on the webs, and the dude punched himself in the face.
Yeah, and what's cool is that the way they've chosen to animate this game and the way they've done the slow
gorgeous.
motion and whatnot, and trying to create that spider sense, like these are all really flashy moves, but they're all like presented and animated in such a way that you can totally see little details of what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking cool.
Man, yeah, we don't really have much new to report on that game, but it still looks fucking sick.
I don't want to bring, I don't know, some people, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were kind of maybe a sticking point for a lot of people, but like I remember the first time I saw it, like I'm talking about the Andrew Garfield movies, but the first time we see him actually in action, like taking down that mugger, and he's like flipping all over the place, and like like I love that scene.
Yeah.
And the way they've chosen to animate him in this game and do all these cool effects reminds me a lot of watching that scene in that movie, and I fucking love it.
I mean, yeah, everything that's going on with Peter in this game is fucking.
He did say Peter Parker too.
Yeah. No, it is Peter Parker. I mean,
but like, if there was any question after we discussed it yesterday, like he did call him Peter Parker.
If they're going with that pattern suit, it's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But I bet the big thing I know in my heart of hearts that they're gonna let you play as Miles.
Yeah.
Did we play anything today, or did we?
Yes.
Just
I played. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about some stuff we played.
I played Ni No Kuni.
Well, let's talk about our Namco Bandai appointment, because that was like a 2-hour appointment that we went to. I also played Ni No Kuni II: Revenant Kingdom.
What y'all think of Ni No Kuni?
So we all played. So they had 2 demos. They're both boss fights.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer, but from when I played the boss fight that was like the giant monkey thing.
Okay, I played the other one.
Okay, so y'all both played the dragon.
Long claw, something. Yeah.
The big thing for me being this is an element of the game I didn't know anything about going into it. Because the last game was kind of Pokemon-esque. You were kind of catching all these like monsters around the world and using them in combat. Here, it's more of a free roam. I mean, it's still a free roam. You can roam around the battlefield and attack like an action RPG, but you have these things called Higgledies.
Higgledy.
Which are little like elemental sprites that kind of, I don't know where you get them. First of all.
They said that they came from natural phenomena,
but I don't know,
like fire and water.
Yeah, but like, what do you do in the world to collect these?
That has not been specified.
They seem like elements, and Pikmin had a bastard.
They kind of hang around the
they're like almost like Pikmin.
Yeah, they hang around the fight, and you can tell they're different colors, and they do different things for you.
Guys, how does combat work in this game?
It's fairly simple.
I mean, it's an action RPG. You run up and you fucking slash at them, and you can hold down R2, and it'll pull up a new wheel for doing abilities.
Recharges what?
The abilities. I wasn't sure.
Attacking. Physical attacks will increase your meter, that blue meter that you have that you can use to do your special attacks. Either he had 2 like special physical attacks. He had one that was a heal, and he had one more. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Well, what what about the circles on the battlefield?
So the Higgledies every once in a while will kind of form a circle. And if you go inside that circle and you press X, a couple of different things that happen. If it's the wind Higgledies, they can heal you. I can't remember all the elements that would do things. One of them would give
fire, wind, and
ice. One of them would give you a shield. It would kind of briefly give everyone a boost in defense. The fire ones would create a barrier that would block all fire elements, which was good for the boss that Brad and I fought because he had mainly fire attacks.
The dragon the volcano.
Exactly. So when you're in that that shield from fire, literally no fire element could hurt you.
The fire elements in mine did something a little bit different.
Okay. What did they do?
They gave me a boost of attack.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure what
doing fire elemental damage.
It could be contextual based on what's going on in the world. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
So it looks like they might have different effects depending on who you're fighting and what environment you're in, that kind of thing, which was cool.
And they also did mention that the Higgledy heroes have special abilities, which are like the Higgledies, but they all have like either like a scarf or they look a little bit different. And it seems like some of them can also like attack they would definitely do attacks on the enemy as well.
Yeah.
Like Pikmin, they would on their own when you're not using them would attack.
We didn't get to see much of this in action, but the one thing about this game that sounded really interesting to me was the kingdom building.
Oh
Yeah, that's what that would have been a really cool demo.
That's gonna play into the overall meta of the
Kingdom
game.
mode is what
Yeah.
they call it.
It's very. So this is Level 5, who also makes the Dark Cloud games. That also has an aspect of like building towns and recruiting people to fill out the roles of those towns because they open up shop and then you can buy their stuff and it seems like this is kind of an extension of that.
No, it definitely is, and that's kind of how they described it when we had the behind closed doors Ni No Kuni game.
They
were
very
saying,
briefly described it.
Yeah.
Well, very briefly, but that's what they were saying. They were saying you can gather, increase the population and buy things and trade and blah blah blah. So
What?
what's that?
We also played Dragonball Fighterz.
You'll talk about that one.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else we want to talk about for Ni No Kuni. And November
yeah,
10th
no,
is the
there's
release date.
PC.
Yeah, it's coming to PC, which is good.
Yeah.
It looks like more Ni No
Looks
Kuni.
fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, it definitely looks good.
And it has charm coming out of its butthole.
But yeah, so Dragon
Let's
Ball,
talk about Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, by the way,
It is
it is
Dragon Ball Fighterz. Like I said. Like I said.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z though seems like such a better name. But hey,
Nah.
I didn't make the game, so that's not my choice to make.
God damn.
You know
This game
what I
looks-
like about this game?
What's that, Nick?
I have no skills when it comes to fighting games, and I still feel like a badass playing this game.
Dude, yeah,
That's true.
like everything you do in that game is
shit.
just like fucking crazy.
Press X to whoop ass.
Dude, I was doing some sweet ass looking moves. I don't even know how.
Those fights look so they look so Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Ball Z when you're oh my god, I don't even know.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, this could go either way at this point, I guess. But if it continues down this path, I don't think there's any question that this will probably end up being the definitive like Dragon Ball Z like
Fighter.
It'll be a good one.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is pretty.
I mean,
it's pretty dope.
This is some
So
great stuff.
unfortunately, even though we got to go see some behind closed door stuff, they still only showed the same 6 characters
Yeah.
we've seen. They haven't really. I asked a couple of questions. I wasn't able to get solid answers. It seems like it's early on enough that they're still trying to keep some things secret.
They did say there was a closed beta coming.
They did
Yeah.
say that. They didn't say when.
Yeah.
There isn't a date on it, but very shortly. They said the game's 20% complete right now with 6 characters in the roster.
Oh, so I guess they're still
No,
well,
I'm sure they're still working on other characters. I'm
so
definitely sure they are.
showed us all 6 characters that are complete then,
Correct.
which were Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Frieza, Cell, and
Frieza.
Boo. So essentially, the 3 main Saiyans and the 3 main villains
Big bads.
of big bads of the
Dragon Ball Z.
series.
So some interesting that stuff they talked about is the game is 1080p, 60 frames a second on most consoles. I think it can go higher. He actually said it can go
On PC?
above
Yeah.
that on PS4, Xbox
Oh,
One,
yeah.
and PC. It will go above the resolution.
Their buzzword was extreme animation.
The interesting thing about that though was that the animation for the
Characters.
characters themselves are at 24 frames a second.
Yeah.
So the characters themselves, when they move, it looks like the anime.
Yeah.
But that's why if you look at the footage, like some of the particle effects around them seem to like pop out from the characters
Yeah.
a bit more. That's because they're
There's a disparity.
they're kind of at like 2 different frame rates, which
Yeah.
is weird. But
Yeah, it's
god
supposed to be.
damn it, that effect is so fucking
It
cool.
looks
Yeah.
really good.
Like
And so the other thing they talked about were they talked about Z Assist, Z Charge, and Z Ultimate, which are just kind of moves you can do. And
Yeah.
the Z Assist is when you can just like any like some other fighter game fighting. And don't get me, I'm not I'm not big into fighters. But one of your 3v3, one of your other fighters can come in and do a quick attack.
An
Or
assist.
do an ultimate. And so the other cool thing they talked about is if each character has enough like a meter stored up, you can combine their ultimate attacks.
Yeah.
So you can start like Goku can do some sort of big like Kamehameha wave, and Vegeta while he's doing it, Vegeta can come in and add on like a Gallic gun, and then fucking like Frieza can come in and add on like a destructive death ball or something like that. So it's if each of the characters have their super like ready, you can do like 3 supers at once.
Yeah.
which is pretty fucking insane.
One thing I'm a little disappointed about, and
What's that?
this is so.
there's no
Yeah, dude, I feel like this is kind of a.
There's no what?
transformations, man. Like I feel like you should Goku should when you pick Goku, I feel like he should be fucking Goku, and then you should build up to a point where in the fight you can transform into a Super Saiyan.
I think the only problem with that is this game is way faster than previous Dragon Ball fighting games. Like Budokai was much slower paced. In Budokai towards the end you have fucking like 7 health bars and shit.
Yeah.
Whereas this
weird
is like
3D arena fighter.
Yeah. This is not meant to be one of those games where you're playing it for like an hour. Each match goes really fucking quick.
I just really hope that like the roster doesn't end up being like, here's Super Saiyan Goku and here's Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
I
Those
don't
are two
think that's
different
characters.
characters.
I really don't think.
But
hope
they
not.
did show Super Saiyan 3 Goku fighting around.
But I'm hoping
in
that
the
maybe
trailer,
that might be an ability.
So what I'm thinking is that's like some kind of special.
Because like in the show,
Maybe, yeah.
because if I remember
what
correctly,
do you think, Chai? Is that what's going on with Goku?
So some of the characters do have level 3 supers, which takes more meter than the usual Sun, but some of the characters can transform, so it varies from character to character. Like Goku's, he turns Super Saiyan, but I think it's only for the move specifically itself.
yeah, that would make sense. 'Cause if I remember correctly, in the show, Goku can only become Super Saiyan 3 for like 30 minutes or something like that.
I don't know if that's like the reasoning.
So like it would make
behind
sense though if it was like a temporary ability you just use and then boom, it's
right. But then,
gone.
for example, Frieza can actually turn to Gold Frieza, and for a few seconds, all his moves become super powered. So I mean, you can still hit him, you can still punch him, but if you let him do his moves, suddenly like the ground explosion he does is much more massive. It does way more damage.
And and that's fine. Like I think that it's still gonna work out great. It's just like for me, growing up watching Dragon Ball Z, it was always about that was fucking moments where they transform. Like, ugh, those were great moments, and you're just not gonna get
But
those
like
in
the
this fight.
fight doesn't start until he goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like,
true.
That's kind of thing.
That's true, but I can picture all those iconic moments in the show where they transform. Like, those are my favorite moments all the way across the board.
And so can Arc System Works because they fucking
Yeah.
animated it so fucking
Crazy.
perfectly.
And I also want to know. I want to know what they're gonna do with the story mode. If it's gonna be just. I mean, obviously.
We're supposing there is a story mode.
No, I'm fairly certain there's going to be, and that's one of the questions.
And I want to know how big the roster's gonna get, because I can think of off the top of my head. I can think of like 30 characters. At least
they go
that I
so
would
far
wanna
as
play.
Boo, so you can imagine the entire Z saga.
Yeah, but I mean, it features Gold Frieza, which is
so it
from
goes
the new
into
This is
Super.
from Resurrection F. So
Yeah.
I think anything is fair game.
I just want the androids.
I meant to talk to the guy that Wilson. Was that the one that showed us Dragon Ball Z?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. But I had meant to speak to him after and ask him some of those questions, but I couldn't find him, and then I had to go because I had another appointment. And I might stop by back tomorrow to ask. I don't know how open they'll be since it's fairly early on, but I meant to ask some of those questions about what's going on with story mode or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking excited. If for no other reason than this is just a really great way to kind of.
I don't know what's going on
Get
with this
nostalgic
mic.
for Dragon Ball Z.
The mic in front of me seems to be like I don't know, messing up. Like I don't know. It seems like my mic much lower. I don't know.
Maybe.
No, I mean if I get right up on it, yeah, I can get. But I shouldn't have to be right up on the mic like this.
Not sure, but
We'll figure it out later.
we'll have to figure it out later because we're already pretty deep into this
And look,
podcast.
it's so good.
you.
Can I play
with
one thing?
Arc,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I did want to say though that based on the way
Too
the
far.
game, sorry,
Too far.
based on the way the game plays, it doesn't actually play anything like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue, which is the two other games that the developers are famous for. It's very similar to the 3DS game that they actually did put out recently, or about a year or two ago. It's a much more refined version of that. So if you want a basic idea of how the game plays, you could try that, but just know that this one is much faster, much cleaner, and much overall way better game. Like a final product of it almost.
what
Yeah.
is this game you mean?
I forget the actual title of it, but the Arc System Works put out a 2D sprite-based Dragon Ball Fighter on the 3DS.
Huh.
So it has
so they
it has a
already
lot of the
did
same.
that came out in the States?
Yes, it has a lot of the same mechanics, like the
Okay.
chain combos, the homing dash, where you push the button, you automatically dash to their position. These things are also in the game. It's just that because they kind of rushed it, it wasn't as balanced, it wasn't as polished. This is what the game is going to be. Imagine that with polish, and that's what you can expect from the game.
Cool.
Cool.
You know who I can you play as Majin Vegeta?
I highly doubt it.
I don't know.
All right, but we got two more Namco Bandai games to talk about.
Yes. Oh.
I just want to mention that I played Gundam Versus. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
going to
one
go.
of the games,
oh,
so,
I
yeah,
thought okay.
including that in the
I thought
games.
nobody else was going to talk about that, but
Why?
there's not much to say about it. It's really fun, great, really fast, responsive arena 2v2 fighter. The thing that kind of fucking blew me away is 96 mobile suits.
That is
Out of the box.
ridiculous.
That's a lot.
96 mobile suits. Pretty much anything you can think of from Gundam. If you liked it, it's in there. Well, I mean, there's a shit ton of mobile suits, but 96 come with the game. The guy I was talking to said like they're all there. They're unlocked. They're ready for you to play as soon as you pop the disc in. There might be maybe like 5 or possibly as many as 10 that you might have to do something to unlock, especially. But 96 out of the box, and then they're adding more later.
God damn.
Yeah. It just...
That's a lot of Zaku berries.
It's so fucking cool.
Chris Davis, I'm pretty
It's
sure you
so
meant
fucking cool.
Gundam.
Gundam.
Okay,
It's
fair.
so
That's fair.
fucking cool. Man, there was I didn't the list that they gave us was very extensive but still kind of truncated. It wasn't the full 96, and there was already like 4 or 5 Amuro suits on there. Like it,
Are they?
it's crazy.
Are they in addition to the suits? Are they doing their respective pilots for them?
They're doing the pilots. The pilots are really more of a customization thing. They don't really play into the mechanics at all. It's more like whose voice are you gonna hear while you're attacking or like taking damage or something.
So
kind of thing.
you get like this version of Char for one, or
Yeah, it's all about the suits, and then it's all about the gear. They give you 2 types of gear you can pick. You can do lightning gear or burst gear. Burst is all about like increased damage. Lightning is all about like increased range and defensiveness basically.
okay.
But holy fuck, man! I have no experience with the Gundam Versus series, but playing a couple rounds of this at the Bandai Namco booth made me very, very eager to get this when it comes.
It's
out.
online and split screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. It is pretty much entirely for the multiplayer of it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Cool.
And then the last game we played
Dude, I flew a plane in VR.
was Ace Combat 7.
Yes.
I was really dizzy for a while.
I took off the aircraft carrier in Ace Combat 7 in VR and did a corkscrew. That was pretty cool. I think I may have pushed my limits of like, when people ask you like, so does VR make you nauseous? I feel like I can confidently tell them I don't think it makes me nauseous, but it came pretty close. Flying a plane in VR, especially like a jet fighter in VR.
I mean, it was interesting.
Pretty
it was,
intense.
It was nice that you have, and it takes getting used to. And most times when you're playing something like Ace Combat 7 or any kind of any game, you look where the camera looks. But now it's in a situation where it's more realistic, and that your plane's going one direction. You don't have to be looking in that direction. You can
don't.
look off to the side, and you can see, oh shit, there's a fighter over to my right.
Like you can look up and have that moment where there's a fucking plane flying right over your head.
Yep.
And that's cool.
And
I don't really care much about Ace Combat as a series. No offense, Chris Davis, but
that's
I would play
fine.
this purely so I
But
could play
VR
this
is
in
a different
VR.
story.
Dude, VR kind of makes it a little more.
And the thing is, there are weapons in the Ace Combat spectrum that would complement the VR pretty well. There is a specific missile that can fire and attack an enemy that's 180 degrees behind you.
Ooh.
So if you theoretically look all around the area and it locks on, and you can just launch it without having to worry about steering your plane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I was getting into a dogfight in VR and actually shooting at other planes in VR is really cool. Having those moments where like it says there's a missile locked onto you, and then like in VR like trying to look around like fuck, where is it coming from? Where's it coming from? And then trying to have to make like a last minute decision to like pull up or just do some kind of aerial maneuver to avoid it.
And it's kind of
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I was impressed.
And it's kind of cool how, at least for the VR, at least for the demo, it kind of locked you into the cockpit perspective.
Yeah.
You've always had those three. You got the instrument panel, you got the cockpit, and then you got the exterior.
Yeah.
But with the cockpit, you actually have to look down at your instrument panel to see your radar, to see how many missiles you have, how many flares you have.
Yeah, and that's cool.
That was cool.
That's pretty cool. I can't say confidently that I'm going to play this when it comes out.
You're not going to, Nick.
But as someone who was interested in VR, it was definitely.
So I was talking to the brand manager
experience
while everybody was getting their turns with the VR, and the VR is not going to be integrated into the core single-player campaign. It's going to be its own separate campaign.
Yeah.
So you get two different experiences overall.
It kind of makes me wonder if I could just if they're gonna maybe sell the VR campaign separately as like a download. That'd be
No,
cool.
they won't.
Probably not.
That'd
No.
be cool because I would do that.
Ace Combat traditionally has usually had the main campaign, and it'll have some kind of arcade mode, like score attack variant.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, let's move on. The last game that I played, a couple of other of us played today, was Moss.
Yeah.
Damn,
What?
that game is fucking pretty.
Dude, of all the games that I saw today, I feel like Moss is like the one that I wasn't expecting to
You were
surprise.
struggling with the idea of third-person VR.
Okay, yeah. So going into this, I have never played. I've played. I've played a pretty good amount of VR experiences at this point. I have yet to play a game where you play the whole thing in
Third person.
Third person, but you are still in VR, and I couldn't quite wrap my brain about what that actually meant until I played Moss, which is what we had this little figure here for.
Yeah.
A little mouse. His name is Quill.
Quill.
Her name.
Her name, sorry. Her name is Quill, and she's the star of the show here.
Careful.
Chai will show that to the camera.
From Polyarc.
From Polyarc.
Is the studio developing Moss. And so the whole concept of the game is the player character is in a library. And you open a book, and as you turn the pages of the book, you're kind of like revealing the story and also kind of helping the story progress. And you take the place of kind of like a spirit, who is the best way to describe it is the wind.
Yeah.
And so only Quill can see you and interact with you. Only Quill knows about you. And so you're kind of trying to assist Quill in, I guess, her quest. We don't really know too much about it yet. And it is definitely a puzzle game.
Yeah.
A action puzzle game.
Yeah, there's combat too.
Where you, as the character, can interact with the world to assist Quill in either solving a puzzle or progressing. But the cool thing is while the game is fairly linear, you can always look to the left or right or look around and see places you can go, places you've been.
It's like looking at like a giant. Did someone use the word diorama?
It's like a diorama.
It's like looking at a diorama of the environment, and then you with the controller. When you move the controller physically in the space, and it kind of reads, it could read how far you're holding the controller out, so you can use it to like reach out to something to grab it. So in like the case when we started the demo, I was reaching forward to like turn the pages of the book, and then later on you're reaching forward to grab onto a column that you can like spin,
rotate,
or you can pull statues and stuff. But on the other hand, with the analog sticks on that controller, you're moving Quill through that diorama like environment, and the fucking environments are beautiful.
The environments are beautiful. I think one of the things that impressed me the most, and I commented on almost immediately, was just how Quill animates in the world. How Quill when Quill vaults over things, it's like really well done.
The fucking mouse is so cute. She'll jump up onto a ledge, right? And she'll do that little thing where she's like using her back legs to try and scamper up the ledge, and then like she'll when she makes a jump, she does this cool little like roll and stuff.
Tumble, yeah.
It just looks. It looks and animates so fucking beautifully. I love it.
So the player character not only can help Quill in solving puzzles, but can help Quill during combat. So there was one instance where these insects started attacking Quill, and while Quill, because with the analog stick, you're moving around, then you can jump and swing Quill's sword. And so there could be an instance where there's like multiple enemies, attacking, and so to help out, you can actually use the player character's ability to interact with the world to freeze an enemy in their place while maybe Quill attacks a different enemy.
Yeah.
So it's almost helping limit the number of enemies you have to face at once. And you can also interact with Quill herself. You can grab Quill, and when you hold her, you can feel her heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
through the pulsing
controller
of the
will
DualShock
actually
4.
vibrate, which communicates her
Kinda
heartbeat.
cool.
And if she takes damage, you can feel her heart beating faster. But if you almost essentially, as the wind or spirit, pick her up, you can heal her back to full health, either during combat or between combat. And there's some interesting things with like Nick was saying, rotating puzzles in the world to kind of solve puzzles
To find your way through the room and
find paths and to interact. There's switches where Quill would have to be standing on a switch, and you have to do something over here, and then switch. And so it's some light puzzle elements. I don't know how in depth it's going to get, but
yeah,
it's pretty interesting what we played.
And it was tricky too. Like if I hadn't just watched Crispy get through this one area, it probably would have taken me a little bit longer to get through it, but. Yeah, I think the game is charming as hell. It ends on a really cool note too. Like you go up these stairs into this dark room, and you kind of walk in, and there's like little bits of light kind of in the background, which looks really cool in VR too, because that sense of depth. But like in the background, you can see like a snake, like slithering around in the darkness, and then all of a sudden the snake comes out right in front of you and like looms over Quill. And then,
that.
Dude, and yeah, Christy was like, "Nope, I'm done." But like, man, it's honestly like maybe one of the prettiest VR games I've played. I'm totally
it's coming out on PSVR later this year.
Yeah, it's 2017 game, so I absolutely intend to play that this year. I think it looks fantastic.
Yo, I played a game.
Tell us about your game, Brad.
I played that Agents of Mayhem.
Oh, you did?
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's the new Volition joint.
Where was it?
In the Saints Row universe.
Crispy and I saw it in the NVIDIA booth, but I don't think
it is. This does seem kind of like a Saints Row spin-off of sorts. It's just, is this game like designed first and foremost to be played co-op? From what you can tell, Nolan.
Not necessarily. No.
It's weird because you actually select 3 different characters to go into the world.
You swap between those characters when you're in the world
on the fly with the
correct.
D-pad.
Yes.
And they have different abilities, but they're all like shooty type characters. And this game does seem kind of like action focused first and foremost, which is a little weird for me because while I did really like the Saints Row games, like the action, like especially the shooting, was never really its strengths. And I found when I found myself in a long a mission that was a little long in the tooth, I got a little. That's when Saints Row was at its worst. So I find it weird that they're kind of making a game that's all action. I will say it is more refined. It is better than it is in Saints Row. Some of the abilities are interesting, but it is still you're still shooting a lot of shit, and it doesn't feel like it does in Destiny or something where shooting feels really nice and responsive. It still feels a little floaty, a little mushy, and honestly, I was killing a lot of things, and I was kind of wondering why after a certain point. Like, is this the hook of the game? Now, I will say that a lot of the stuff kind of surrounding that, like the characters and the writing and the personalities, that stuff seems really good. Like it was good in Saints Row, and it's good here too. Like the story seemed funny, the quips seemed funny, and like Saints Row, that might be enough to get me through the action. It just seems weird that this is such an action-focused game. I almost want Volition or the Saints Row team to do something more like a Tales from the Borderlands or some shit. Just like not action at all, because that's
more of the comedy and the character.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
some of the best moments in Saints Row are just when
Just
you're driving
bullshitting.
around and the two characters in the car just start singing the song that's on the radio.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
That has nothing to do with action. That's
Can
all
you
writing.
imagine Tales from Saints Row?
Oh baby,
or something.
That sounds great to me.
It actually kind of does.
I'd play it.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how this thing develops. I think it's coming out this year.
That's supposed to, yeah.
I'll probably try it. This seems like a good GameFly game for me. Agents of Mayhem. I don't know. It's at the Square Enix booth for some reason.
Okay, yeah. Crispy and I
We
ran
saw
into
it
it
at
in the
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA booth.
Maybe I would like y'all to try it out, and I'd like to hear y'all's opinions.
I would like to try it.
As someone, y'all don't play a lot of Saints Row, right?
I loved 4 and well, I loved 3, but 4 was like
Okay, well,
4 was like one of my top 10s.
So
year.
I would really like you to try it out, or even you, Nick, and just kind of let me know what you think. Kind of take it on face value.
Sure.
Because I mean, there's driving and stuff. It is an open world. You collect stuff.
Yeah.
They
But
didn't
like the
have
missions
driving
are
last
very actiony, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Was there anything else today that we wanted to talk about?
I only played one of the game.
And what was the name of this game?
It's called Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
Oh, that's so. Brad and I passed that at the end of the day, and we were like, "That looks really interesting," but the show floor was closing, so we didn't get a chance to check it out. What do you think, Chris?
Where is this?
The demo, you really
Xseed.
don't need to try it out. It's at Xseed. It's basically kind of like Muramasa. It's this 2.5D side-scrolling brawler beat-em-up wannabe thing. You play as this girl who's this heavenly deity, but she fucks up and gets kicked out of heaven. And so she's taken in by this village, but she has to earn her keep.
Yeah.
So she serves as this village's chef. So
Okay, what's this called?
Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
All right.
So yeah,
Nick, if you walk into the South Hall, is that where it's at? The South Hall,
West
the
Hall.
West, whichever. The West Hall, it's like one of the first things right in there. If you see Senran Kagura Beach Peach Blast, whatever that is, right behind it is where this is.
Yeah, it's the demo is really meant for the combat half of the game. It's two parts. There's combat where you're going out and exploring the world, and if you kill enemies, you collect them as ingredients that you can use to cook food for the villagers as well as yourself and upgrade your character.
Huh.
And the other half of the game is kind of a management thing, in which you're growing a field of rice and doing more character management stuff.
So I'm seeing
but that wasn't demoed at all. They only showed like the combat portion. The combat, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't think a demo where you make rice would go over
No,
particularly well.
it wouldn't translate well to this environment. No.
For sure. But yeah, it looks cool.
Combat's alright. I do have a few issues with it, mainly just connecting and making combos when attacking enemies.
It's a little like low-rent vanillaware, to be honest.
Yeah, it is kind of low-rent vanillaware. The one thing I think that tried to make it stand out is that you've got a scarf, and it's kind of like the grappling hook from Bionic Commando, which you can use that to latch onto objects in the environment and fling yourself, or latch onto enemies and either draw yourself in or like fleeing past them to get behind them and attack them from behind. I don't know. It seems all right. It's coming out next year. It's a short demo. You can beat it in like 5-6 minutes.
Cool.
But I mean, I encourage trying it. It was the one other game I got to play
you
today.
can, pro gamer.
Shit.
Yeah, but
What?
I think that's everything.
yeah,
All
that's
right.
pretty much it.
I played a little Concept. It's still Concept. I love Concept. It's like Monopoly meets Magic the Gathering. More of y'all should try Concept. It's cool.
Hey,
I
where's-
played a little Yakuza 6. It's still Yakuza.
All right, thanks for reporting. Where's that Sentinels game? The actual
not
vanilla?
there.
It's not there.
Ages
It's only the
We're handing
trailer.
out some art.
They've got a cardboard cutout of the Mac.
I
Fucking
mean,
A.
they devote the placards for all the E3 badges to Sonic, and the other half is Aegis
I guess
13. Whatever.
No,
guess
it's Yakuza, and I just
Whatever.
Is there anything that y'all?
But it's not there. You can't play it. There's no theater demonstrations. There's no nothing.
Is there anything that you guys plan to tackle tomorrow?
Oh, there's a ton I would love to tackle if they were actually here.
I would really like to get Mario Odyssey.
I'm
in
going.
tomorrow.
I think I'm gonna book it straight to Nintendo in the morning.
I would really like to get Star Wars Battlefront in tomorrow.
I want to play some Nintendo stuff. I want to try Crackdown. I want to try
Sea of Thieves.
that East.
I feel like
Sea of Thieves.
I feel like we need to all try to do Sea of Thieves at some point.
Yeah, for
Agreed.
sure.
I want to do some Crackdown. I've got an appointment in the morning for Extinction.
I'm gonna be playing Bannerlord tomorrow.
Oh shit. Man,
State of Decay, I'm going to try and get into appointment 2.
I've got-
That's
Man, I
behind
wanna see that.
that's behind closed doors.
Yeah.
No guarantees in that.
I've got a fucking appointment to see Hunt, the game from that
we
Crytek
have that
game.
appointment.
Yeah, sorry, we have that appointment to see that Crytek game Hunt.
Crytek's last hope.
Yeah,
What is Hunt?
it used to be a multiplayer
Left 4 Dead thing.
Left 4 Dead style thing, but they've like dramatically overhauled it, I think, and it might not. I don't even know if it's a multiplayer game anymore.
I don't
to
even
be
know
honest.
anymore.
So we're gonna check that out tomorrow afternoon.
It annoys me that a lot of the places I went around to hoping to find these games that I'd made a list for before E3,
Yeah.
they're just not fucking here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't get into State of Decay. I can't find Metro anywhere.
Metro,
Koei Tecmo's not
dude,
here.
Metro. That game.
I don't think it's. I think it's way too early.
Dude,
for
I don't
that
even.
game.
I would be willing
That
to.
game comes out next early next year.
That doesn't matter.
Dude, I don't even think they said early next year. I think they just said 2018. I would not be surprised if that game isn't even out before next
Based
E3.
on what we saw in the conference, I don't think that's playable right now. I think that was a very polished, small, vertical slice of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Evil Within 2 is not here, like in a playable form. They're doing kind of what they... So, if y'all remember, Bethesda didn't even demo Dishonored 2 anywhere before it came out. And instead they opted to do this, like, interactive, like, presentation. Like, you walk through a room and you see all these props and stuff.
I would not call that even interactive.
It wasn't.
You were looking at statues.
Yeah, so they're doing the same thing for Evil Within 2, which is a real bummer. But at the same time, I kind of like... I'm excited enough about that game. I don't even know if I really need to see anything of it. Like, I just kind of want to play it. I just kind of want to wait until it comes out and fucking play the shit out of it.
I'm going to double down.
I might be going on media blackout for Evil Within 2 starting now, actually.
I'm going to try and double down on Bandai Namco tomorrow and see if I can find out anything about City Shroud and Shadow.
You're going to try to...
I got to find out about that, man. It's Granzilla, for one, but they're doing a fucking disaster report thing with giant monsters.
It's not there.
Well, it's maybe they can at least confirm that it's being ported.
What about? Are you gonna play Wolfenstein? Isn't that there?
It's a 2-hour fucking line to play Wolfenstein. It comes out in October. I love Wolfenstein.
All right,
maybe
we'll
I
hear
just
about
wanna
all
wait.
these fantastic games tomorrow night.
Yes.
Where's Blue Reflection? I want to play Blue Reflection.
I have
That's
no
not
idea what that
here
is.
either.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night here. It is a bit late. We're a little bit later than we had originally planned. So, thank you guys so much for listening. This has been our day 1 of E3 2017 podcast. You can join us again tomorrow evening as we record our day 2 podcast. We'll be talking about all the things we've played and seen tomorrow. Maybe Nintendo will squeeze out a few more announcements during their treehouse tomorrow to talk about. And yeah, we're having a good time. Just a reminder, if you happen to be in the LA area or nearby and you would like to come hang out with us, we're doing a little community meetup for anyone who wants to join us on Thursday night. We'll be doing that. There's details on the website if you want to check that out. We're going to Button Mash. It's a little cafe/arcade thing here in LA, which is cool. Check out the site if you're interested in joining us for that. And we'd appreciate it if you are planning on coming to RSVP by leaving us a comment on the website. That way we can kind of get an idea of how many people to expect. And I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Good night.